Hey everybody, welcome to week 6. This week we're talking about agriculture, and we're talking about broadly about agriculture. So we're talking about our food systems. And so we're going to be doing a couple things. We have a lecture, we're going to be talking about ag. And then if I want you to watch two different videos. The first is called Fish on My Plate. And this is a PBS Frontline video. And it talks about the oceans and our fish as a food resource and all the other things that we do with fish as a resource and our resource decision making around the oceans and freshwater. And this, for many cultures, incredibly vital protein resource. We find fish in lots of the things that we do today, and yet we are having a significant impact on fish. Like we are seeing fish collapse. This is the second year in a row they couldn't find snow crabs anywhere in Alaska. Like they are pretty sure that 4 years ago there was a bunch of snow crabs, and then significant warm water got up north and wiped them out, and that was it. Snow crabs are gone. Like it happened that fast. That impacts an entire, not only does that seriously impact the ecosystem there, right? Like these are bottom feeders. They have a huge impact on the ecosystem health up in the Bering Strait, but they also have a huge economic impact for humans. Like that's crabbing is an entire industry and a major food source, and it's gone. Like that. So Fish on My Plate is a really important video for us to be considering when we start to think about ocean as an important agricultural resource. Then I want you to choose between watching one of two videos, depending upon what you have access to. So if you have access to Netflix, I want you to watch the video Kiss the Ground. It is actually a really amazing video about regenerational agriculture. We've already talked about agriculture a couple weeks ago, so this is looking at contemporary agricultural systems. The other one, if you don't have Netflix and you have Amazon Prime, is The Biggest Little Farm. Now, if you don't have access to either Amazon or to Netflix, please let me know, and I have a backup resource for you. So those are the videos I want you to watch for this week. Also reading Montgomery's chapters 7 and 8. This is going to be talking a little bit about the Dust Bowl, which is one of our first major contemporary environmental disruptions. I mean, like it's a huge issue, and something that we're going to talk about in our agriculture lecture as well. And the choices around how we decide what we plant where, what those ecosystems actually support, how that support is going to work, what happens when we don't understand those ecosystems and the weather patterns associated with them very well. In the case of the Dust Bowl, the entire Midwest collapsed, like the entire agricultural system collapsed because we happen to be exploring the prairies, we being Western expansion, European settlers, happen to be exploring the prairie system during a particularly weird little wet bump, which made us think that the prairies were paradise. And we tore up all of the native grasslands that were out there. Grasslands, traditional grasslands, are not like agricultural crops. Grasses in prairie systems are 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 feet deep. The massive amount of the biomass of grasslands is underground, but we tore all that up and we put in corn and we put in wheat and we put in soy, and they have very shallow roots. And then we didn't get rain. And without rain, those crops collapsed. And we have torn up all the things holding the soils down, and those soils blew away. Literally, they blew away. We lost like 4 inches of topsoil during the Dust Bowl alone. They blew east, by the way. They blew to Washington, D.C. and New York and out into the Atlantic. And we wasted a lot of that soil because we did not understand those areas and how to best protect that soil. And so agriculture, when we talk about land-based agriculture, hugely important for us to understand soils and how we're making soil resource decision making. This week, there is also a group discussion. So we haven't had a group discussion in a couple weeks. And this group discussion is going to be talking literally about agriculture, particularly what do we need to be thinking about in terms of changing from Western practices to maybe more conservation-based practices and regenerative practices. And then asking you some questions about where we need to go in California. We have this little drought thing that just happened. I know that the last couple winters have been a bit wet, but that is not going to be our norm. And so we really need to think through how are we rethinking agriculture in California. We are a huge agricultural resource, so part of your group discussion is going to be on that. I hope you have a wonderful week and you enjoy our discussion on agriculture.